I had another conspiracy on the Bermuda Triangle.
Bermuda Triangle. Okay.
Do you know much about the Bermuda Triangle?
I just know everything gets lost there.
Yeah. So the Bermuda Triangle, do you know where it's at?
Somewhere
Bermuda?
in the Caribbean
Yeah.
Islands?
It's like there's a triangle from like Florida to the Caribbean islands to where's kind of like where South America kind of
Okay.
comes in there. But obviously there's been like tons and tons and tons of shipwrecks in that triangle, tons and tons of aircraft that have crashed or gone missing in that triangle area. And there's so many different stories around the Bermuda Triangle and mysteries.
Okay.
One of the theories, what I thought was really interesting, was they think that it could be potentially where Atlantis was.
Huh.
In that area, and what's causing the disturbance, because a lot of the aircraft, when they fly over that area, they're almost the thermometers, they're points of direction.
Compass?
Compass, thank you. Wow, their compass.
Thermometer.
No, I don't know why. Their thermometer that points in the direction. No, their compass goes crazy in the Bermuda Triangle. Like, it loses the magneticity.
Maybe that's where the new North Pole's going to pop up.
Yeah, right in Bermuda. But so anyway, so what's contributing to that in this specific claim with Atlantis is supposedly divers have dove down in that area and have found like a giant crystal pyramid down there.
Crystal Pyramid.
Yeah, and this is the part where it gets a little bit sketchy. Is supposedly every time that they've brought equipment down to take pictures of it and everything, they either lose it or goes haywire or crazy. Which, I mean, if for the sake of the argument, if there's something electrical happening over there where the thermometer where the compasses are going haywire, then you bring it down a digital camera, it might go haywire as well.
Yeah.
So there's that sake of the argument.
Okay, so let's just run with this.
Okay.
We're going with this whole
Atlantis theory.
Atlantis, electricity. Pretty much, it's probably that crystal pyramid is probably creating some sort of electricity. And supposedly the pyramids used to create electricity.
Or harness it somehow, yeah.
Yeah, but what I'm curious is now going to a conspiracy to making up a conspiracy.
Okay, I like this.
All the pyramids in Egypt, were they crystal as well?
Ooh, the
And then
capstones?
when the energy ran out, they used up all the energy from the crystal, and they became the stones that they are today.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I was just thinking because the capstone on top is gone on the Great Pyramid. There is no the capstone being the very tippy one.
Yeah.
Supposedly, I don't know how they know it, or they think that I think it was like gold or overlaid in gold, the capstone, but maybe it was crystal.
Maybe it was crystal underneath.
Maybe, yeah.
Or maybe they just found the peak of it. Maybe that's they keep on transferring it from one to the next.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I mean, realistically, probably why the capstone on the pyramid, if it was gold, and I mean, some looter's gonna come by and grab that.
We love putting gold on almost everything.
It's also a high conductor of electricity.
Yeah, and so, like, you look out throughout history, all the tops, roofs, domes, we just plaster in gold.
Yeah.
And then we say that there used to not be any electricity.
Right. Right.
Or was it just a conductor for lightning? But that's an expensive one.
Yeah, and I feel like, I mean, lightning is so sporadic. Like, it's not like, oh, we're getting a lightning storm every day this week. It's like,
yeah,
you have seasons for it. Which comes to another conspiracy is back, all the countries. Well, you were just in Europe. A lot of the old buildings have a lot of steeples and pokey tops.
Yeah.
So a theory with that is that they were actually harnessing electricity through those steeples, because a lot of steeples have like crosses or wires, crosses and so forth.
Copper.
Yep.
Roofs, gold roofs.
And they think that the tops of those steeples underneath the crosses or whatever was like a container with almost said magnesium. It's like a fluid metal.
The stuff that you put in light bulbs. Mercury.
Mercury, yes, thank you. It was
The Obama light bulbs. So you had to get a hazmat team to vacuum up if you broke a light bulb.
Really?
He was wanting to go down that way, because that's really when we went from the old-fashioned Edison type of light bulb
to
the LEDs. And mercury was the kind of the talk in the middle.
Interesting. But there's back to the conspiracy.
Sorry.
With the little pokey steeples.
Yeah.
That inside they had little like canisters with mercury in it, and they've done like experiments with like similar models, and that mercury spins with that, like harnessing some kind of energy from the sky.
That is crazy.
And it spins it, therefore then creating a generator that generates electricity.
Yeah.
And there's now I think next week, because I was gonna look into that this week more in detail. I totally forgot.
I can give you some more stuff to look into if you want to.
Yeah. Do you know more about it?
So I actually have had conversations with coworkers.
Yeah.
This type of stuff, and so I haven't done any research on it. It's just more kind of hearsay. But what they were saying is that, like, they found clay pots, pottery, with copper in them.
Okay.
In the pyramids.
Oh.
And supposedly, if you add orange juice to it, with the copper, it acts like a battery.
Ah.
And then going back over to Europe.
Yeah.
I was in Dresden, and in the castle in Dresden, they had a museum kind of devoted to technology and kind of like all the different technology gadgets. Like they had surveying equipment, like watches and clocks. Like that was a huge, like telling time precisely was a huge thing. And because like when you're traveling around the world, you look at the time, you look up at the stars, and like they had the maps, like they had globes of the Earth, and they were like using surveying equipment way back then. Like people were living in castles, and you're having people going out there with survey equipment, which just kind of blew my mind.
Yeah.
Like hitting islands, and then they also looking at the stars, and they had like globes of the stars.
Globes of the stars?
Yeah.
Like
so.
Okay.
Like if you look straight up and you look like at the globe there, you can say, "Hey, I'm here," and then you can probably determine where you are.
Triangulate.
Yeah, something of that nature. I don't know how they used them.
Yeah.
But they had like globes of like all the different star.
Fascinating. Star maps and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
And put it into a globe format that they can spin and rotate.
That's crazy. That would be a fun museum to see, actually.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, and going to...
Like, going back to that. Going back to that, that's kind of like explained, but one of the things that they had was like a little thing that you cranked.
Okay.
Produced electricity.
Okay.
And then they actually have little batteries.
And what year would this have been?
I think the 1800s, maybe.
Oh, wow.
1700s. But I'd have to look back at my photos on that.
Interesting.
But that was very interesting on that. And then like looking back, I'm like, okay, so you figure out you have electricity. You figure out how to store it. What is the only thing I could think of that they would actually legitimately use it for is torture. Like, what else are you going to use? Like, oh,
Yeah.
you know?
Starting fires.
I don't know, but what else would you use the electricity back then for?
Yeah, if they didn't have radios and TVs and
Because Edison created the light bulb.
they created. Well, going back to Egypt, where
Yeah.
you said they had those clay things.
Yeah.
There are. I was gonna say cave drawings, hieroglyphs that depict like people in a cave, like digging in a cave. But then right next to them, they have this weird-looking object that looks like this elongated like light bulb connected to something. And I mean, you look at it, it looks like this big light bulb, and the picture is in a cave.
Interesting.
So it's like they might have powered that with those clay jars or whatever. So
Got
like
the orange juice.
yeah, right. Where orange is heavily grown and
I have no clue. I mean, it's probably mild over there.
yeah, or
So probably.
well, and they say, I mean, however many thousands of years ago that that area would have been like lush area. So
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, if they had light bulbs then, what else did they have that we kind of forgot about or didn't know they had? Or
Yeah. Well, I'm just thinking of today's technology. Like, say, 1,000 years from now, someone comes up and picks up a hard drive, or even a phone, and
Yeah.
they take a look at it, and they're like, "That's interesting."
yeah,
And I mean, it's probably rusted and everything, pretty much eroded away.
yeah,
So you probably just have little components and it's flown off into the dust.
Yeah.
So you might have like the little glass lenses
Yeah.
of the camera and the screen. And you're just like,
And-
wonder what this was.
yeah, and write it off. Oh, it was jewelry or something. like honestly, I mean,
That's interesting. I never thought of that.
yeah. Sapphire crystals was an elegant piece of jewelry back. And that's what their camera lenses are made out of, sapphire.
Oh, come closer, come closer. Conspiracy Crypto Pirates is a new show. And we need you to like and subscribe. Please do so. Oh, and don't forget to comment. Yeah, do that. Okay.